Hey guys, it's Len at Line Strong Athletics. Upper body flexibility is often overlooked, but it affects your fitness journey as it plays into strength, size, and injury risk. Today we're going to go through a stretch routine that you can do for your upper body to get your flexibility on the right track. First, hit that like and subscribe button so you can stay up to date on our most recent videos. Before we get into it, I want to briefly discuss the benefits of increasing your flexibility in terms of strength, size, and injury risk, like I just discussed. First of all, with strength, in general, a tight muscle is a weak muscle. And an easy way to think about it is if your muscle is too tight, it's not able to grab and contract properly, and a nice elongated muscle will be able to give proper force. When it comes to size, this is mostly related to fascia, but we need to give your muscle an environment in which it wants to grow. And if your fascia and muscle is too tight and compact, you're not going to want to grow. It's like a fish in a fish tank growing to as big as that fish tank is. And the last part is injury risk. It's not necessarily for that specific muscle. For example, if my chest is tight, I'm not at risk to tear my chest necessarily, but if my chest is tight, it might round my shoulder forward, which might leave me at risk for back pain or shoulder pain if I'm trying to press something and my shoulder's rotated. So its effects on our body can lead to injury. Let's get into some housekeeping and answer a few questions. The first is, how long should you be holding these for? The minimum I want you to hold these for is 30 seconds. Well, some research suggests 45 seconds or even longer. But the point is, I don't want you to do a stretch and hold it for 5 or 10 seconds and think that that's going to lead to drastic change long term. You need to sit in these stretches for longer if you want to gain that over time. The next part is intensity. We're going to be ramping this up over time. I want you to start with each stretch where you're just feeling a light stretch at first, and eventually we're going to really try and get that stretch. It might be a little bit painful, but when you speak to gymnasts and you speak to professional dancers, that is the best way to gain length in these muscles, is to really push yourself. The next part is where, when, and what do I need? The where and when is wherever, whenever you can around your schedule. But the what do we need is important. I need you to have something that's not going to move. If you're in the gym, it could be a squat rack or a bar that's in a fixed position. If you're on the go, it could be a door jamb or a pole or a railing of some kind. Now, get into these stretches. We're going to do 2 back stretches, 1 chest, 1 shoulder, and 2 arms. All right, let's hop into these stretches. I've set up a pole in my gym here. That's not going anywhere. That's what I'm going to use. You could set this up in your gym as well, or just make sure you have something that's not going to move. We're going to start with 2 back exercises. Our first one is going to target our mid-back, a little bit of our lats, and a lot of our traps. What you're going to do is set up with your feet nice and close to this pole, wrap around. I like to cross my fingers up like this on the far side. And what we're going to do is curve our back this way and just fall away. Now I can play around a little bit with knee bend and hit different angles, but right now I feel my mid back stretching around my spine. Okay, so what I want you to do is hold this for 30-ish seconds or more if you have the time, and that's really going to target the mid back. You don't have to go far to target the rest of your back. It's a very similar stretch. We really want to go after your lats here. Those are the ones that are on the side. And what we do is this exact same setup, but now I'm going to flip my hands over like this and grab on the same side of the pole. And then we're going to stretch and lean back there. This we have to do twice. We're going to do 30, 40 seconds that side. And then we're going to grab this side, hands on the same side, lean back 30, 40 seconds, and I'm stretching my lats out. Moving on to the chest next, I'm going to show you 1 arm at a time version, but you can do this 2 arms at a time. A great place for this is a door jamb or a squat rack. So you're going to stand with your body lined up perpendicular to the pole We want to get nice and long with that arm. We're going to try and stretch the pectoral muscle, so you want to lean forward and then turn your body away. And so right now my pec is stretching across. I'm getting this good stretch here, and I'm going to hold this for 30 to 40 seconds. And then I would rotate and do the other side just like this, 30 to 40 seconds. But my goal is we're trying to elongate that chest. So one thing to keep in mind here is your position of your hand on the pole or whatever you're stretching on. I want you to play around a little bit with height so that you can find where you feel the best stretch for you. For a shoulder stretch, we're going to take the classic arm across. You can see this shoulder muscle, deltoid muscle, stretching as I bring that across. And we're going to add tension on it by grabbing our pole or whatever we have available to us and then slowly leaning away. And that's just going to provide a little bit more pull through that deltoid muscle. We want to be roughly parallel with the floor with our arm, and we're going to hold that for 30-45 seconds. And then we'll switch to the other side, pulling, holding 30-45 seconds, and that's going to really elongate that shoulder muscles, which I think really helps you get wide and change your physique. Our last two stretches are going to be for our arms, one for the tricep and one for the bicep. Tricep first, that's the one in the back of your arm. What you're going to do is bring your arm overhead like this. I'm going to try and reach down my back as far as I can, and the other hand is going to come up to my elbow and try and pull me back and down. Now again, holding the stretch for 30-40 seconds, whatever time you have available to you, and then you're going to switch to the opposite arm. Now, hitting biceps for a stretch is very difficult, and that's because on a bicep stretch, our arm locks out like this. So that's exactly what I want you to do. We're going to go long with our arms like this. My bicep is extended, and then I want to push my pinkies down to the ground like this. This exercise is more effective with your arms higher. You'll feel it less effective as you go down. So raise them up really high, rotate those wrists down, and stretch and lock out that arm. And that's how you stretch your biceps. 30 to 40 seconds, holding both out just like this. So there you have it, an easy routine for your upper body to stretch all the major muscles. At 30 seconds, you can accomplish this routine in 5 minutes. Ideally, we're trying to push that maybe 45 seconds to a minute hold, and your routine becomes 7.5 to 10 minutes. Or we can add multiple sets of this, and your routine becomes a 10 or 15-minute stretch routine. Now we're hitting all the major muscle groups here, but if there is a muscle that you're interested in, be sure to leave me a comment so I know. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button so we know what kind of content to create for you, and be sure to subscribe so you can see our newest videos.